In this video, I will be using group policy to deploy K-Lite Code Pack. I will use two different deployment methods. One is where we create a policy for domain computers, and then the computers install the software during startup. Another one is where we create a policy for domain users, and then the users themselves can install the software whenever they like. I will also use Wix to package the executable into MSI file. I'm starting this video from my GitHub page because there are a few bits of information here that I will be using for this video, and I will leave the URL in the description down below. Also, in the bottom of the page you can find more of my videos that are related to this topic. For example, here you can find my Windows Server setup if you are interested in that. There is also videos about extra group policies and settings that I'm using when deploying software using group policy, and also there are a few videos about Wix on how to install it and use it. And now I will begin this video by downloading K-Lite Code Pack executable installation of files, and for that I will use the link that I have here. And it brings us to the download page. For this video I will be using the standard version, but this tutorial works basically for any other also. So I will click download standard, and I will select server 1, the download should start, and I will go to my downloads folder, and as you can see, here we have our executable. And now that we have our executable, we need to package it into MSI file, and for that I will be using Wix. And for Wix we need a Wix configuration file. And I have a few of them in my GitHub page, as you can see here. One is called K-Lite, and it's already finished configuration file that you can check out if you want to. But for this video I will be using this one called template, so I will click on it. Then I will click the button right here to download the configuration file, go back to the downloads folder, and first I will rename it. I will name it K-Lite. Then I will right click on the file and I will open it with Visual Studio Code. You can use any other text editor to open this file. As you can see, it's only an XML file. Basically, it's instructions for Wix on how to package the executable into MSI file for us. And when working with this file, we mainly care about this part right here. Basically, here we need to enter the specific information to this package. First, we need to name our package, so I will name it K-Lite installer. For exe, we need to provide an executable file name, and for that I will go to my downloads folder, right click on the executable, select rename, then I will select the full name to include the extension because the extension is important. Then I will right click again and select copy, and I will paste in the value here. For the path, we need to provide the location where we currently have our executable. In my case, it's my downloads folder, and my downloads folder is in my D drive. So I will type D and downloads. Then we need to provide silent arguments because we want the MSI file to execute this executable with silent switches. And for that, I will go back to the GitHub page because here I have the silent switches for the K-Lite Code Pack. So I'll select them, copy them, and I will paste in the values here. Then for the version, we need to provide the version number for this MSI package. It's unrelated to the software, but in most cases, I like to keep the version numbers the same. So I will select the version number from the executable file name. I will paste it here. And I will add a dot here, and also I think here. Then publisher is not that important, but it's a mandatory field that we need to provide a value. And I will enter, let's do automation. And last, we need to provide a GUID, and GUID is basically a unique identifier. And we can generate one using PowerShell. And for that, I have a PowerShell command in my GitHub page. So I will select it, copy it, and then I will open terminal. I will paste in the command here, press enter. And as you can see, every time I'm using this command, I'm getting a new unique identifier. So I will select one of these values and I will paste it here. And that's basically all the information that we need to provide for Wix in this configuration file. And now we can use Wix to build us an MSI package. And for that, I will go back to my terminal. Here we need to change the location where we have our configuration file. And for me, it's my downloads folder. So I will type cd and d and then downloads and press enter. If I type there, you can see that here I have my executable, and also Wix configuration file. Now to build the MSI package, we need to write Wix build and provide the Wix configuration file name. In my case, it's klite.wxs and press enter. Then I will go back to my downloads folder and the MSI file should appear here. And here it is. And now that we have our MSI file, we can start deploying it. So I'll right click on it and select copy. Then I will go to my VMware workstation where I have my Windows Server environment. For now, I will minimize Server Manager and I will move the MSI file to my desktop. And from my desktop, I need to move it to a network share that is accessible to my users and my computer. So for that, I will open File Explorer. Here I will enter my file server name as LRV02. As you can see here, I have a network share called software. I will go inside of it and then create a new folder named K-Lite. I will go inside of that folder and move the MSI file into it. And here you need to make sure that you have the correct NTFS and share permissions. For example, in my case, if I go to Properties, Security tab and Edit, you can see that I have authenticated users with read permissions for my NTFS permissions, and I also have the same permissions for my share permissions. And authenticated users covers both users and computers that are in my domain, and with read permissions, that means that users and computers that are part of my domain are able to access this share and execute files from it. Anyways, you need to make sure that your computers and users are able to access and execute files from it also. So let's close everything here and let's go back to the server manager because now we can start creating our group policies. And then let's go to tools and group policy management. Then I will right click on group policy objects, select new. And the first policy that I will be creating will be for my domain computers. It's where the software is installed during startup. And I will name the policy assign K-Lite. Then I will click OK. I will expand group policy objects. And here I will click on the policy that we created. Then I will right click on it, select edit. And because this policy is for our computers, we need to go to the computer configuration, policies, software settings, and software installation. Then let's right click here, go to new and select package. Here make sure that you're selecting a file that is located in a network share because it will allow you to select a local file. For example, in this case, this file is located on the server's desktop and it will give you a small warning, but it will allow you to create a group policy. But when the computers would try to install the software, the installation would fail because they don't have access to the server's desktop and to this file. So to access a network share, let's click here and then type file server name, and for me it's SRV02. Press enter, let's go to the software share, K-Lite folder, and select the MSI file. Here I will select advanced and click OK. Then let's go to the deployment, advanced, and here I will select ignore language when deploying this package because I want to deploy it no matter what the system language is on the client machines. Then I will click OK and OK. And we're done creating our policy. So let's close this window. Then let's go to details. And for GPO status, I will select user configuration settings disabled because this policy only has computer configuration in it. And I will leave all other settings on default. Now, after creating our group policy, we need to assign it to an organization unit that is holding the computers on which we want to deploy the software. In my case, the organization unit will be this one, domain computers 1. So to assign the policy, I will click and hold on the policy and then drag and drop it on the organization unit. And then I will click OK here. And as you can see, the policy appeared here and also here. And that's it. Now we can test this policy and see how it works. And for that, I will go to one of my client machines that is located in this organization unit. And for me, it's client 01 that I have here. And here we want to update our group policy. So for that, let's go to the start menu. Let's enter CMD and open it without administrative privileges. And here I will type GP update and press enter. And as you can see, group policy update was successful. Here we're getting an informational message that a software package was detected, and for it to install, we need to restart our system. So to restart our computer, I will type shut down -r -t0 and press enter. And now let's see what's going to happen. And as you can see here, our software package is being currently installed. So let's wait a bit more. And the installation seems to be done. So I'll sign in to the user. Let's go to the control panel or install a program. And as you can see here, we have our installer installed. That's published by Let's Do Automation. And also here we can see our version number. And it seems that I entered the dot in the wrong place. Anyways, close enough. And also we have our software itself. Because Group Policy installed the K-Lite installer, and then the K-Lite installer installed the software package itself. And now let's go to the start menu, all apps, and somewhere here we can see our K-Lite Code Pack. Let's open Media Player Classic, and it seems to be working just fine. And that's it for deploying K-Lite for our domain computers. Now let's create another policy, but this time let's allow our users to install the software themselves whenever they like. And for that, let's go back to the server. I'll right click on Group Policy Objects once again, go to New, and this time I will name the policy Publish K-Lite, then I will click OK. I will right click on the policy here, select Edit, and this time, because this policy is for our users, we need to go to User Configuration, Policy, Software Settings, and Software Installation. I will right click here, go to New, and select Package. Once again, make sure that you're selecting a file that is located in a network share, like this one. So I will select it. I will go to Advanced and click OK. Then let's go to Deployment tab, and here for Installation User Interface options, I will select Basic because I don't want to allow my users to select anything during the installation. Then I will click OK here, and we're done creating our policy. So I will close this window. Make sure that you are selected the policy that we currently created and go to Details, and for GPO status, this time let's select Computer Configuration Settings Disabled, because this time the policy has only user settings in it. And once again, I will leave all other settings on default. And after creating our policy, we need to assign it to an organization unit. But this time we need to assign it to an organization unit that is holding our users. In my case, it will be this one, the main users. So to assign the policy, I will click and hold on the policy and then drag and drop it on the organization unit. As you can see, the policy appeared here and also in the list here, and it's the only policy for this organization unit. Now to test this policy, I will go to my other client machine that I have here, client 02. And here I have a shortcut that allows me to install the software from the network, but as you can see, the list is currently empty. And to fill the list, we need to update our group policy. So for that, I will go to Start menu, I will type CMD. I will open it without administrative privileges, and I will type GP update and press enter. And it seems that group policy update was successful, so now we can refresh the list that we have here. And we can see our package. I will double click on the package to start the installation. And it seems that the installation was successful, so I will click OK here. Let's go to the start menu, all apps. Let's scroll down a bit. Here we can see our K-Lite Code Pack folder. Let's open Media Player Classic. And once again, it seems to be working just fine. And that's it for deploying K-Lite Code Pack using group policy. In the future videos, I will show you how to deploy it using other software deployment tools. So like and subscribe if you want to see that, and see you in the next one.